Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe, and most importantly, staying focused on the markets. Because right now, we are at a point where things are starting to line up in ways that only come around once every few years. We're talking about unique setups, long-term catalysts, partnerships, regulations, and momentum in the crypto space that could set the tone for the next bull market. And today, I want to break down why Zebec is becoming one of the most exciting plays in the market, why it's different from the rest, and why this cycle could be the one where Zebec finally shines as a serious contender among utility-based cryptocurrencies. So sit back, relax, because this is going to be a very detailed deep dive. The content shared in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It should not be considered financial advice, investment advice, or trading advice. Cryptocurrency markets are highly volatile and carry significant risks. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions and consult with a licensed financial advisor if necessary. I am not responsible for any financial losses you may incur by acting on the information provided. Invest responsibly and never invest more than you can afford to lose. Let's start right at the top. The partnership discussions between Zebec and XRP, whether direct or indirect, whether it's full integration or more of a supportive ecosystem relationship, have sparked a huge conversation in the community. People have been asking, if XRP is already a giant in the payments world, why would Zebec matter? The answer lies in specialization. XRP has carved its place as a cross-border payments solution, aiming to replace or enhance SWIFT and help banks settle transactions in seconds. Zebec, on the other hand, is attacking the payroll and subscription payments niche, which is absolutely massive but often overlooked in the crypto space. If the two can somehow integrate or even complement each other, the effect could be explosive. Imagine using XRP rails for global liquidity and Zebec's infrastructure for payroll management. That would be nothing short of phenomenal. Now, beyond the partnership speculation, another huge driver we need to talk about is the XRP ETF. Yes, you heard me right. The possibility of an XRP ETF coming to market would not just shine a spotlight on Ripple and its ecosystem, but on all utility-style tokens that fall under a similar umbrella. If that happens, we're looking at an inflow of institutional capital, billions of dollars that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for regulatory clarity. That capital won't just buy XRP, it will spill over into projects like Zebec that have strong fundamentals and clear use cases. Pair that with the timing of the market cycle, with altcoin season potentially heating up between January and April, and you have the recipe for euphoric price action. It's not just a gut feeling, it's the same pattern we've seen before. Every cycle has its stars, and this one could very well have Zebec written all over it. Now, you'd honestly be foolish not to at least consider loading up while prices are still at these levels. That's my perspective. I'm not telling anyone what to do, but when I look at the charts, the partnerships, the compliance milestones, and the sector Zebec is operating in, I see asymmetric opportunity, meaning the upside far outweighs the downside. And when you're in crypto, that's exactly the kind of setup you want. Speaking of wisdom, I want to shout out Umar, who's been dropping some gems on the community lately. He's been spot on with the timing and has been highlighting the catalysts that many people simply overlook. Sometimes it's not about reinventing the wheel, it's about recognizing when a project is quietly building momentum and positioning yourself before everyone else catches on. That's where the real gains are made. So let's talk about the here and now. I'm currently enjoying some downtime in Texas, got myself a little rental, soaking up the vibes, checking out some cars, enjoying life. But at the same time, the grind doesn't stop. Even when you're on vacation, the market doesn't sleep, and Zebec is not slowing down. Just recently, Zebec achieved SOC 2 compliance, which for those who don't know, is a huge milestone in terms of security, trust, and operational integrity. It basically means Zebec is playing by the highest standards when it comes to handling sensitive data, which is exactly what you need in the payroll and finance sector. You can't build trust with corporations, enterprises, or even governments without ticking those boxes, and Zebec has done it. I've been transparent with my own moves. I picked up Zebec when its market cap was under $250 million, dropping around $10,000 into the project. At the time, a lot of people were still skeptical, calling it a fad, calling it overhyped, but here we are now, watching the momentum build. And the broader crypto market is going crazy. Just yesterday, I talked about how Zebec was ranked around 60 out of 100 on the altcoin season index, which means we're still early. That ranking alone tells you that we haven't even entered full alt season yet. But when we do, projects like Zebec, which already have catalysts stacked up, are going to take off like rockets. And let's not forget about the partnerships that have already been locked in. Zebec has deals with the NBA and the NHL, two massive sports organizations with global recognition. Marketing partnerships like these are not just about slapping a logo somewhere. They're about credibility, exposure, and brand building. When average people see Zebec associated with institutions they already know and trust, they start to take it more seriously. That's how you go from being a niche crypto project to a household name. But the partnerships don't end there. Just yesterday, another partnership was announced, which I covered in detail in my last video. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out because it ties perfectly into the bigger picture. Every new deal is like another domino falling in Zebec's favor, and when you add them all together, you start to see why so many people are getting bullish. Now, let's talk catalysts. What are the major things that could take Zebec to the next level? We've already mentioned SEC2 compliance, we've mentioned the sports partnerships, but the big one is listings. If Zebec gets listed on Binance and Coinbase, and I personally believe it's only a matter of time, then we're talking about a flood of liquidity. These are the two biggest exchanges in the world in terms of retail exposure. When a coin gets listed there, it's like flipping a switch. Suddenly, millions of people who had no easy way to buy Zebec can do so with just a few clicks. That's when things really take off. Now let's talk numbers. I believe Zebec hitting a penny this cycle is not only possible, but likely. And a penny is still undervalued when you look at what the project is doing. People forget that XRP was once in the same boat. Back in its early days, XRP traded at fractions of a penny. Nobody took it seriously, people mocked it, and then years later it exploded to several dollars. The difference is that XRP had the SEC lawsuit hanging over it, which slowed its momentum. Zebec doesn't have that. It's compliant, it's regulated, and it's clear of major legal hurdles. That alone makes it a safer bet in many ways. Now, I know some people still throw around FUD, calling Zebec a rug, saying it's not going to last, but those arguments don't hold water anymore. Compliance has been achieved, partnerships are rolling in, development is ongoing, the narrative has shifted. This is no longer a fly-by-night project. This is a serious contender in the payroll and finance automation space. And if you've been paying attention, you know that's a sector worth trillions. Think about credibility for a second. XRP has it because it's been around for over a decade. Bitcoin and Ethereum have it because they've survived every cycle, every crash, every FUD storm. Zebec doesn't have that yet, and credibility only comes with time. But what Zebec does have is momentum. The charts are showing healthy pumps, pullbacks, and consolidations. We haven't broken the all-time high yet, which I believe was around $550 million in market cap, but we've seen glimpses of strength. The foundation is being built, and when the breakout happens, it's going to be powerful. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the supply. One of the things I really like about Zebec is the tokenomics. Around 90% of the total supply is already in circulation. That means we're not going to see massive inflation from team unlocks or constant dilution from new tokens hitting the market. What you see is what you get, and that's a huge advantage compared to other projects that still have massive cliffs ahead of them. Combine that with exchange listings, ongoing partnerships, and increasing adoption, and you start to see the bigger picture. Zebec is carving out its own lane. It's not trying to be Bitcoin, it's not trying to be Ethereum, and it's not even directly competing with XRP or XLM. Those coins are fighting in the banking and cross-border space. Zebec is focused on payroll and subscription automation, a niche that is massive but still underserved in crypto. Think about how many businesses struggle with payroll, how many freelancers work globally and deal with delays, high fees, and middlemen. Zebec is solving a real problem in a sector that desperately needs innovation. So, let me ask you this. Have you bought a bag of Zebec yet? Because I've been telling you for months now that this is the time. Every cycle people say, I wish I bought earlier. Don't be that person watching from the sidelines when this takes off. If you enjoyed this breakdown and found it helpful, make sure to smash that like button, share this video with your fellow crypto enthusiasts, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I drop the latest market insights, analysis, and price updates. Your support helps the channel grow and keeps this content coming every single day.